What's up, Nail Geeks? It's the beginning of the month, and you know what that means. We have another Fandom Flakies box, and this month we have the theme Studio Ghibli, specifically the movie Spirited Away, which, P.S., if you haven't seen, it's amazing. Highly recommend you guys watching it. And our guest maker is Illyrian Polish. So we've got lots of goodies to check out once again, so let's get started. First up is Bee's Knees Lacquer. This is If You Don't Play With Me, I'll Cry, and is described as a mid-toned nude full of green to blue to purple iridescent flakes and bright gold flakes. Formula on this one feels a bit on the curly side to me. It does have a touch of squish factor to it on those brush strokes, and of course that paddle brush really helps to spread it across the nail very evenly and wonderfully. For the most part, I think most would be just fine at 2 coats on this. As you'll see here in just a moment, it builds up crazy fast to opacity. I had no issues with those flakes, and you'll get a ton of them as payoff on your brush strokes. And in person, you can see little tiny little hints and flecks of those green and blue and purple iridescent flakes. I did capture some of those on my macro shots, which I'll be sure to show you guys at the end in the recap. Now here you can see on that second coat, plumped out really nice. Like I said, I really can't see anybody super needing to go to 3 coats unless of course you are rocking stilettos. And of course in the final shot you are seeing a glossy top coat applied. And Night Owl Lacquer brings us Can't Beat the Power of Love. This is a turquoise blue crelly filled with violet to red to gold crystal chameleon flakes and silver and to white fleck shimmer. So this is a crelly-like formula to me. I do feel like it just slightly has a bit more squish factor to it in terms of crellies. So kind of flirting with being more on the jelly side. However, it still builds up perfectly like a crelly and has really smooth brush strokes on it. Really nice self-leveling factor happening with this one too. And for the most part, I think most are going to be just fine between 2 and 3 coats, depending on your preference. Though honestly, I feel like at that second coat, it was just fine. You could see just the tiniest little bit of my visible nail line in the bright lights that I swatch in, but I thought it was just fine, and taking my hands away from my studio lights, I really couldn't see it. So this one does dry down on the flat side, so once again I'm going to recommend a good glossy top coat to really exploit those flakes. And Illyrian Polish brings us 1,000 Questions. This is a mauve base packed with silver hollow flakes and glitter and a mix of orange to green, aqua to indigo, and gold to green and orange to gold iridescent flakes. AKA it is an absolute flaky bomb. It is very pretty. It does have a bit of a jelly-like feel on the formula in my opinion, but it is crazy opaque. So on this one, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on it. This is another one that I really can't see most needing to go up to 3 coats with, of course, my stiletto caveat. And here on that second coat, you can see beautiful buildup happening with it. Loads and loads of flakes. There's quite a bit of a scattered sparkle happening with it too. And when you build it up, I do feel like the base is just a touch on the mauve side, though personally I feel like there is a very strong purple factor happening here, as I do feel like the video is showing you guys color accuracy to what I'm seeing here in front of me. Once again, this one does dry down on the flat side, so I would recommend a very glossy top coat to really bring this one out. And Ribbits and Stickets will be offering a Soot Sprite holographic vinyl sticker. As you can see here, it's quite a bit on the large side. You can add this to your box for an additional 5. Very stinking cute. It's adorable. So lots of holographic goodness happening with this one. And she also brings us a new water slide decal sheet. This month we have this one, which will be 5 if you wanted to add it onto your box. Lots of adorable characters, including those super precious soot sprites and all that good stuff. So for this month, I wanted to create something with a little bit of night sky incorporated into it. I do feel like a lot of the images that you search for in this movie and in some of the epic iconic scenes from it are taking place under a really dusky kind of sky happening. So I'm going in with a gradient, and of course you guys know the drill. Really cheap makeup sponge. I personally don't like to wet it. If some might find it easier in terms of polish being absorbed into the sponge, definitely your preference. I don't like it. It's just, that's definitely a me thing. So on this one, I'm going in and just sponging in those colors down, getting a really nice gradient happening. Now, by the time I got to my middle finger for the video, my sponge had dried quite a bit. I didn't really want to use another sponge, and I'm of the impression that when you do gradients, it's okay if it's a little textured, if it's a little messy, because everything gets smoothed out and looks awesome after your top coat. So gradients are really simple. They're a little bit messy, but I always recommend a liquid latex barrier and you'll be protected from additional mess. So here I'm going in with white, which is, of course, you guys know my favorite white, Night Owl Lacquer's Ya Basic White. And I'm using a teeny tiny brush and a dotting tool to kind of create a little bit of a starry-like effect. Now, please keep in mind my nail brushes severely need to be upgraded. They are so old, they're so crusty. One of these days, I'm actually in need of some tools severely, so I might go ahead and order me some new stuff, and maybe then I can actually create some awesome free-handed nail art for you guys. So please note, this is probably not the most pristine star effect you'll see. Like I said, my nail art brushes are crusty and I will definitely be upgrading them and replacing them very, very soon. They are so old, it's not even funny. So what you want to do is take your white polish, and I personally like to mix it with a drop of acetone, and it kind of makes it to where you'll get more of a painty like effect with it. And you want to go in with your dots and you can just kind of blur some of them out on the sides, and from far away it gives you that nice twinkling like effect. So when your brushes aren't old and awful like mine, this works fantastically. Now I'm taking an image from the Ribbits and Stickets water slide decal sheet, and really quickly, you guys know my preferred method for using water slide decal sheets. I like to go ham with the nail art in the background. So a lot of times if you have a dark polish as your base, you'll definitely need some type of white in behind that image, and just put it on a stamper. I think this is the most efficient way to do it if you are going to wear them like this. Otherwise, if you wear light base colors and you want to use the water slide decal sheets, they pop just fine. But of course, I have quite a bit of a dark background. So easy for placement, I can see exactly where I'm putting it, and I just pop it right over the nail art here. If you did cut out the image a little bit too large for your nail, the material that the water slide decal is made out of is very easy to dissolve in acetone, so it also helps with a cleanup brush if you did do that. So here I'm going in with glossy top coat, and you can see really lovely, lots and lots of detail. I think with a water slide decal sheet you can always get way more detail than say like a stamp or something. So definitely something to check out if you are new to water slide decals and nail art and all that good stuff. So the box itself is $30 plus shipping for the 3 full-sized polishes seen in this video, and of course you can also add the water slide decals for an additional $5, and or the Soot Sprite hollow vinyl sticker for an additional $5. The pre-order starts May 8th at noon Eastern Time and will end on May 15th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll link you guys below to Fandom Flakies shop and the Facebook fan group if you want to get in there and check it out. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.